Consider subscribing. Hey Google, what is today's date?
All right, but your device needs to be unlocked for that. It's Friday, September 29th, 2023.
Hey Siri, what is today's date? Hey Siri, what is today's date?
It's Friday, September 29th, 2023.
Hey Bixby, what is today's date?
Today is Friday, September 29th.
All right, I'll say that's 3 for 3 when it comes to the digital voice assistants. But today's date is very, 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 very important for some of us. September 29th, 2023. What's happening today? The end of an era. The end of an era. 25 years, Netflix has been sending discs in the mail, which consist of DVD and Blu-ray. Yeah, and Blu-rays. And they essentially revolutionized the way that we consume movies at home. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't even remember, or a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that Netflix at any point sent disc out in the mail, and some still were surprised to find out that they still were sending disc out in the mail. And I gotta say, it's been a extremely enjoyable ride as a customer. Very rarely do I enjoy giving money to companies, but when it comes to this particular service, I remember how thrilled I was when I first started as a customer, and I can tell you right now, I am extremely disappointed to know that after today, Netflix will no longer be mailing disc out in the mail. I will say that there have been some ups and downs, and I'm not going to pretend to have been a customer for the entire 25 years, but I'll say 14-ish. There were definitely some gaps in there where I chose to stop subscribing. But back in 2009, right when I was a rising senior in undergrad, my brother had already been a customer with Netflix for a little while, so he had told me about it. And I said, hey, I want to start my own subscription. So I signed up myself, started paying my own bills, felt like I was doing big things back then, and started getting disc in the mail. And back then, you just like now, you had the DVD option and the Blu-ray option, but there was a cost difference if you wanted the Blu-ray option. It was a couple dollars more a month, nothing too significant, but they did want to differentiate one category from the other. I will say, unfortunately, they never started renting 4K disc, at least to my knowledge. I mean, maybe they did and I just never saw that as an option, but they I never received one in the mail if they were in fact renting them to customers. And for a while, I don't think I really cared too much, but towards the tail end of this era, I would say within the past couple of months, I definitely wished that they had allowed customers to rent 4K disc. I will say that I've never consumed or watched a movie on 4K in terms of the actual 4K Blu-ray disc, not 4K when you're streaming stuff. But I can imagine that that's something that I would have really, really enjoyed. And I'm speaking as if 4K discs don't exist. I'm speaking as if I can't go buy a 4K Blu-ray player now, but I don't know if I want to make that commitment. One, yes, I could always buy the 4K player, return it if I don't like it. But when it comes to the disc, I can probably find some used disc online and just figure out if it's something that I actually want to invest some money in. But I'm not sure. I will say that. I am not sure. But enough talking about stuff that Netflix didn't offer. Let's talk about the things that they did actually offer. And back in 2009 when I started, like I said, I was really excited. And yes, some movies were only available on DVD, and it's still like that now. And some movies were available for Blu-ray and DVD. And one of the reasons that early on in my Netflix subscription, I got a little frustrated is the fact that they, one, separated the streaming service from the mail-in disc service. So originally the company was just Netflix, and they said, okay, boom, we're starting the streaming service. It comes included with your current DVD or Blu-ray plan. And all you have to do is just sign up or go into the app, or actually, I don't remember when the app actually came about, but I do know you could go to the website, and then at some point there was an app and so forth and so forth. When I went back to school that following fall, the internet connection wasn't great, so streaming wasn't that good. And I can imagine that in its infancy, the service itself wasn't that good either. So I'm blaming everybody. You know, my equipment wasn't the greatest. The internet connection wasn't the greatest, and I'm sure their infrastructure at that particular time wasn't the greatest either. So I didn't really stream too much, needless to say. But the disc definitely came through, and one thing I did not like is sometimes it felt like I never got access to the new releases. And I will say that really, really frustrated me. Movies would get released, and then you'd have to wait weeks and sometimes months before you could actually get the disc in the mail. And at one point in time, I actually did call Netflix to ask, hey, what exactly is the process when it comes to customers receiving new releases? And they told me it was random. And I said, all right, if you say so. And I expressed the frustration of there were times where I would add the movie to my Netflix queue before the movie was even released in theaters. So we're talking months before it's available on Netflix. So I would add it to my queue. It would get released in theaters. Maybe I'll go see it in theaters. Maybe I wouldn't. A couple of months would pass. Then it'll be available on Netflix. And I still wouldn't get it in the mail quickly. And I just said, this doesn't make any sense. But if it's random, you know, whatever. And in all of the years that I was a customer, I can only recall one time where I actually did receive something when it was new. And that just happened to be most recently. So I'm hoping I'm not just forgetting other times when it happened. But most recently, when Yellowstone Season 5 was available to rent, I got that the moment that it was available through Netflix. So I was very, very appreciative of that. On the whole, as a customer, I have been satisfied with this experience. And it's unfortunate that they're deciding to go this route. The company, at least this aspect of the company, is still profitable, but it's nowhere near as profitable as their streaming service. So I understand it. As a business move, customer retention rates are going down, and it only makes sense. So I can't be too upset about it. But I will say that Redbox does still exist. And hopefully on the screen right now, I have the article up. But if I'm recalling correctly, if you take a copy of this or something and post it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, they'll send you a free code to redeem a movie for a night. Now, the issue with Redbox is their catalog is way smaller than Netflix's catalog. And as of recently, they've made some changes. I noticed in the app, there used to be a section down at the bottom that the section was called Coming Soon. And you said, okay, cool. You can see movies maybe for the next month sometimes in terms of what's coming to the kiosk in the next month or in the coming weeks. And you could tap on the disc or on the thumbnail and you could see, okay, it's going to be released on this date. And then, okay, you kind of plan around that. But at one point in time, that little section of the app disappeared. So I'm like, okay. Now, if you go to your web browser and type in Redbox Coming Soon, you can still kind of get access to it. And maybe that section is somewhere buried in the app, but it used to be right there on the homepage. So I definitely felt like at that point, they were starting to pivot to streaming, just like the way that Netflix has pivoted to streaming. Because many of the movies will be announced through Redbox, or Redbox will send you an email and they'll say, okay, early access to this movie. And they'll say, oh, great, I can go pick it up at the kiosk in a couple days or a week or so. And no, you can rent it digitally, which is like $20. And I said, well, that's not really worth it because renting one movie for $20 is not what I want to do when an entire month of three disc out at a time was $20 here. A 4K multi-concurrent stream streaming plan with Netflix right now is $20 a month. I'm not paying $20 to rent one movie. I think they'll also have it where you can buy it for $25. And I'm like, usually I don't really care to own the movie. So I just really want to get the movie at the kiosk for a cool $2 or less. So even though, yes, Redbox is saying that they're going to be around, they've recently announced some of the big name movies that have come out this summer are going to be available at the kiosk. I don't know when that's coming or when that's going to happen. And it is a little frustrating. So at least optical media isn't completely dead today, but it is definitely on its last leg or couple of legs, depending on how many legs it originally had. So all in all, yeah, I've enjoyed it. I really have. And if you were ever a Netflix disc customer, please, leave a comment and, let me know what your plans are when it comes to consuming high quality media. I think I might actually start buying used discs and just collecting them. I really don't know. And I might start with these 2 discs because apparently you don't have to return them. There will be no late fees or penalties for unreturned disc. And I haven't even opened these yet. So I should have another one coming in the mail today, maybe my 3rd and final disc. But yeah, what a good way to go out with disc in the mail and even my copy of Blue Streak, which we got when we were children. And I have not watched this movie on VHS in who knows how long. I've seen the movie. It's available. I can probably stream it right now somewhere. And Blue Streak definitely was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. So yeah, definitely excited. I feel like this is a nice segue to end this video.